Luke, I want to ask you your thoughts about it, but I'd like to add a thing. You have the advantage of being the non-lawyer here. You can see the three of us are like, our heads are exploding, and anyone who believes in legal reasoning and the rule of law are like foaming at the mouth. Does it come through though? Do you think like the coverage of the American people, they have any kind of sense of this is way, way out there? Or is that the sort of thing that's just too fine-grained for non-lawyers to really appreciate?
Well, we did one story at the Times where I was legal experts like sounding off on
Yeah.
the special master. I think it was called like outrageous or inexplicable or something. I forget what the headline was. And I think that was the best read story
Oh,
Times for the whole week. Like
yeah.
everyone read that story because I think people were trying to make sense of this thing. Like, is she being fair-minded? Is she out there? But I think you're right. Most people are probably hearing special master. They're thinking something about the documents. They really want to know, is Trump going to be charged or not? And I think they could have some sense that this slows that down, right? Like this is standing in the way of justice. Maybe I think that's what probably is getting out to the public. That's kind of my concern too, is the sort of the practical implications of it. Like I'm on Capitol Hill most days, and talking to the senators and Congress people, and they're saying like, well, now we can't get our classified briefing. Now we can't get our damage assessment done. There was some belief at some point that she was going to let them do the damage assessment, but not the FBI. But the FBI is part of the group that does the damage assessment, so it didn't make any sense. And anyway, I don't think they can do that now, and the classified briefing's been pushed off. And so, I guess I do have a question for the people who used to be federal prosecutors. Like, how much does this hurt their investigation? Like, if you have to wait 3 weeks or 3 months or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, look, her order, the initial order was not clear at all. This second order she tries to clarify the uses to which the government can put the documents. She effectively is saying you can't actually hold them and use them. You can't take them into the grand jury and read from them. You can't charge based on them. But you can still kind of know what you know from having seen them and proceed with your investigation. So it's still not entirely clear. I don't know that it damages the investigation piece of it so dramatically if ultimately, they get them within the time that they would have needed to charge anyway. But here's my concern. So she's overseeing the special master. She's appointed Judge Dearie, who is vastly more experienced, and I think now we can say conclusively a vastly better judge than Judge Cannon is. But she's overseeing this process because she appointed him. So what happens when Judge Dearie in a couple of weeks has reviewed these 100 documents, has decided, these documents are going back to the government. They are not going to Donald Trump. And Donald Trump then runs to Judge Cannon and says, no, this is all wrong. He made the wrong decision. You need to reverse this decision and give us what we want, which is to throw these documents out of the case. And then what does Judge Cannon do? Is DOJ going to appeal that to the 11th Circuit? I mean, how much litigation are we getting in that's going to delay all of this well beyond the period in which Judge Dearie would need to make his decision? He'll probably be done in a couple of weeks, but we could be litigating months and months and months. And obviously, if they can't charge months and months and months down the road till it goes up and down Supreme Court, 10 times, that is obviously really damaging to the investigation side of the House.
And it's even worse because she has, again, without any reasoning, continued to more than open the door. She has ordered him to review documents for executive privilege. Special masters don't do that. They've never done that, but more to the point, there's no law for a guy like Dearie to apply. There actually is law out there that makes it clear that he could never have possessory interest in this, because even if there was some theoretical basis, because it's a criminal investigation, it's been settled that it would give ground. But Dearie has no way to call balls and strikes on executive privilege documents. He'll take one and say, okay, looks like executive privilege to me. But then the question that she's left open with no legal standards to think about is, well, does he have some right to this or not? He'll make a call. Some Trump will oppose, and then what Jen says, goes up and down. So and there's literally no law there. So it's fanciful to think that if this stays, it will be done by November 30th. It's a huge derailing of the whole case, not to mention if it's true that he has some interest in some of these 10,000 documents, then maybe that affects the criminal charge or investigation. Maybe it's not a crime. What about those, George? This would be up your alley. Not having practiced criminal law, they go to the 11th Circuit and it's reversed. This was a special action under Rule 41. If they say she shouldn't have acted and given him this extraordinary relief, isn't that sort of the end of the Rule 41 motion? And aren't we back to normal with Judge Reinhart? Or does she still somehow, are her clause in the case forever and ever?
No. I think it would be the end of it. I think there are different ways to end this.
Yeah.
First of all, I think any of us could go through the 100 classified documents and look at them and conclude these documents are marked classified. That's really the only issue. That doesn't, they're not necessarily executive privilege because it doesn't involve some kind of discussion with aides. It's just factual information being provided, not necessarily by people in the White House, but this is stuff coming from CIA, NSA, DOD. We don't know exactly, but this isn't executive privilege stuff. It's just this is stuff marked classified, and it was the subject of the subpoena, and it was not produced. And if Judge Deary, is doing his job, he should basically say to the Justice Department, give me the 100 documents, or he'll come down to Washington and look at them, and then immediately issue a decision saying these documents should be turned over to the government. Now that could moot it. The other thing could be is that, I guess I've heard that the Justice Department really is going to go to the 11th Circuit today.
Yeah.
That stay application is an easy grant. You're not taking out the whole special master. The 11th Circuit could just issue the stay that she declined to issue last night. And basically, that's the end. That's the end of what really matters here.